Stephen Howson, full-time Devils, not on a chair, not at Old Trafford, not at Wembley, not in the top four either. We decided to do this today after the Everton game and after the weekend's game rather than doing one in the mixer on Monday. Here's what we've got coming up for you. We've got Statman Dave, we've got Fancam Comp, we've also got Simon Preston from the Reggae Boys joining us on the United on YouTube section. Let's get into last night's game, shall we? Let's see where did it go wrong for Manchester United. And I haven't really changed my position on what I saw last night. There was far too much long ball from Manchester United. There was far too direct. I thought Fellaini was getting in Zlatan's space a little bit. There was no one really running at anybody. And Manchester United for the last 3 seasons have had this problem dealing with teams that just absolutely collapse in on themselves and deny us the space. But we see other clubs dealing with, actually Arsenal deal with this probably a little bit better than we do. Manchester City deal with this. Chelsea deal with this. Every top team in the Premier League deals with teams putting men behind the ball. But for 3 years, Manchester United haven't been able to do that. And I don't know why. And I have to question, what are we doing differently to everybody else? Why we can't break this team down? It seems to be a uniquely Manchester United thing that you're able to shut us out, particularly at Old Trafford. And that's not right for me. Yes, the refereeing decisions have been poor. They've been poor in our favour. Not as much as they've been poor against us this season, but the refereeing standard is poor. Now, you can't blame the refereeing standard. You can't blame a number of things, but one thing you can say is, what are Manchester United doing that is different to everybody else? Even if you look back to the West Brom game, there's a few of you mentioned Marcus Rashford needs time up front. I think what we saw from Marcus Rashford in the West Brom game is that he's still not ready to be played up front against teams that are going to sit back and... I actually think against Liverpool, against Chelsea, against Manchester City, against Arsenal, that's a game where you want to play Marcus Rashford because they're the teams that are going to leave you space. They're teams that are going to leave gaps in behind, and Rashford needs to be able to get in the mix and get on them, but he's not scored since September. That is a worry. Now, if you look around the rest of the forwards in the Manchester United side, yes, Ibra has missed 18 potential one-on-ones that, you can argue if he scores half of those, we're in a completely different position. Wayne Rooney scored, 2-3 goals? Rashford scored 3 goals. You're looking at Marshall scoring 3 goals. Just in the league, from all of these players, that's not good enough. Zlatan's far and away ahead, leading goal scorer. Now, if all of the rest of those had pitched in with 8, 9, 10 goals, we're also in a different position. It's an over-reliance on Zlatan Ibrahimovic that I think is a problem for Manchester United, as well as quickly reverting to a Route 1 style of play, which I don't think does us any good. That's what I've got to say about it. Let's see what the Statman's got to say about it. Oh, actually, before we go to that, let's see what Jose Mourinho had to say about it. He's got a very interesting comment. It might be the most crazy Mourinho comment that we've ever had, actually, talking about Luke Shaw. Let's have a look.
I tell you because I told him already. He had a good performance, but was his body with my brain. Because he was in front of me and I was making every decision for him. And the communication was possible because we were very close, but I was thinking for him when to close inside, when to open, when to go in depth, when to press the opponent. I was making every decision for him. And we need, at this level, we need the fantastic body he has to play football, the fantastic physical qualities he has, the very good technical ability he has, but he cannot play with my understanding of the game. He must understand the game, he must think, and he must accelerate the process. He must accelerate the process because, 21 years old is old enough to have a better understanding of the game. But his contribution was good. He improved the team. He gave us immediately after 30 seconds. He was almost in a scoring position or in an assist position. What was good for him, I think he goes today with a positive feeling because his performance was very positive, and I'm happy with what he gave us.
So that was what Jose Mourinho had to say in his press conference last night. He's been quite scathing in his press conferences of late, particularly about Luke Shaw. I thought Luke Shaw looked really good last night when he came on. He had the opportunity for levelling up the score for what was eventually given us the penalty with his weaker foot as well. Unbelievable strike. I hope that we can see a bit more Luke Shaw. We are running out of options at the back, and I hope Tony Valencia comes back pretty soon as well, because I think that's becoming our back four. Now, I said I thought it might have been too much hot sauce with Rojo and Babe, but actually I thought they was both excellent last night, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they can do. But our problem isn't at the back, it's going forward. We're far too static, far too rigid in that final third, which reminds me a lot of what we saw last season under Lou van Gaal. Let's see what the Statman has got to say about this, though.
I'm Statman Dave, and it's time for the 3-point review from Manchester United versus Everton. Well, first up, we've got to talk about United's playing style in recent weeks against these weaker sides. It's been absolutely rubbish. Too direct, too early in the games. United playing a lot of balls from central midfield up to the big strikers in search of the equaliser. Under Sir Alex Ferguson, when United had these sort of tricky fixtures, Ferguson would always tell his players to be patient, switch the ball and get crosses into the box from better areas than Manchester United are currently doing under Mourinho. Mourinho needs to go back to the drawing board in an attacking sense and work out how United can break down these sides. In 15 games this season, Manchester United have played 25 or more crosses into the penalty area. In these 15 games, they've only scored over 2 goals on one occasion. Absolutely rubbish. But also the bar and the woodwork is not helping Manchester United. They've hit the woodwork more than any other side in the Premier League this season. Not good enough finishing for Mourinho's men. Moving on to the central midfield pairing of Herrera, Carrick and Fellaini. There's one player in there that I keep, that's Ander Herrera, Mr. Consistent for United this season, and there's 2 players that I would have put in the bin against Everton. Both Maro and Fellaini in possession of the football was shocking. There was passes against, to Rashford that he didn't make, to Ibrahimovic and so forth. Michael Carrick, unfortunately, tempo was far too slow for this game against Everton. Both players shouldn't have started for me. But to finish things off, let's talk about the King. The King, Eric Bailly, taking over from the reign of Nemanja the Mighty Vidic. Bailly is looking like the real deal. It was fantastic against Everton. Some big tackles going in on Ross Barkley, Lukaku. Every single time Lukaku looked like he'd shifted the ball well, got himself momentum, Eric Bailly came out of nowhere, got the block in, game over. In terms of the game, Bailly made the most interceptions on the pitch, made the most blocks, but also won the most tackles. The 5 tackles he made in the game won 100%. King Bailly is here to stay. Just needs a partner in crime. But anyway, that's been that. If you want to check more of me, go on to Statman Dave on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Howson.
So I think Dave has got a new microphone. Anyway, so let's all see what you guys are saying in the comments. And we've got a few people here saying, Adrian says, Shaw's body language post-injury reminds me of a post-injury Falcao, not the same player mentally or physically. But if you look at what Falcao's doing at Monaco now, he has recovered and he has recaptured that form, hasn't he? I think you can't overestimate how much time is required from something as bad as a leg break or a cruciate knee ligament injury. I think that's the sort of thing you've just got to be real patient. The problem that Manchester United have got right now is it's April, you've got 6 weeks left of the season. We can't afford passengers, we can't afford people to be given time, and this needs to happen in pre-season. This needs to happen in the early part of the season, not where every single game is crucial. And it was in our hands up until a couple of weeks ago. Now it's not in our hands, and that is a problem. And we've got some excellent reaction last night from the fan cam. So let's have a look what's going on in the fan cam comp. We've got an old guy going mental. We've got Andy Tate wanting rid of every single person in the club. Just have a look.
Disappointing draw, doesn't matter. Disappointing season, disappointing appointment. The manager, we should never have got him. I don't know who wanted him. They're all bleating on about that he's got us playing the way that United should. 10 draws, that's the way United should, dead right.
We looked a bit nervous today or something. We looked timid or something. We weren't taking the risk that we usually do.
When we're drawing games, a lot of the time I still have a positivity. But the last 2 games, there was something that you could do about it, and especially when you're watching it from the stands, you're like, just do that. And today it was when you had Fellaini playing off Zlatan, it just doesn't work. Now, Fellaini has been good in recent games. He's done all right in midfield, holds the ball up really well, plays well, but today wasn't his game.
His next window is the most important window of his career at Old Trafford. To get rid of the duck eggs, because we've got a few in there, and to bring in players he wants, and we've got to make this place a fortress again. At the moment, it's a bit of a joke.
It has happened again, Rachel.
I mean, well, let's remember, at least we didn't lose. Like, we could have lost. Like I know it's rubbish, and it's rubbish because draws are shit. And it's actually becoming cliched now. Like, people just expect us to draw at home. But we came very close to losing, and that would have been a lot worse.
Rojo, Fellaini, De Gea, all of them tonight, not delivering.
We've just gone 20 games unbeaten, haven't we, right? It means all in the grand scheme of things. I'll take 3 losses and more wins. How about that? Couple more comments that we've got here. We've got Morgan saying Ricardo Rodriguez, remember him? Worth a look. That was an excellent fullback. Yes, but is it necessarily transfers that we need to fix? I think we probably do need a couple of fresh faces, but certainly don't think we need half a dozen like a lot of people are suggesting. David in the comments says people like Mourinho out need a hard slap. I would agree on that one. I don't know what you're going to do if you get rid of Mourinho, who you're going to bring in. Like everybody who's took this job pretty much post-Fergie, you need time. Time is what's needed. You're not going to fix what we've got going on at Manchester United in 1 or 2 windows. And when you constantly evolving managers, they want to get rid of the players that the previous managers bought and bring in their own and all that sort of stuff. But let's see what Simon Preston's got to say in United on YouTube. See if he agrees with any of you lot in the comments or anything like that.
Hello, full-time Devils. Simon Preston here. Manchester United 1, Everton 1. The good news, Zlatan Ibrahimovic is back and scoring goals. And also, we have now a 20-game unbeaten run. On the not-so-good side, we have now secured our 12th draw of the season. 9 of those 12 draws have been at home. And that has been quite concerning because if you want to finish high in the league, compete for the league, be in the European places, you need to get maximum points at home. And it's been quite frustrating that we haven't done so this season. Although we have 2 doors open in front of us with the Europa League and the Premier League, there is more margin for error in the Premier League where we have an opportunity to go further. So let's get behind the team, let's support United, and the wins will come. Sunderland, watch out, we're coming.
Well, there we go. Thank you to you guys for joining us. Thank you for everyone getting in the mixer and joining us live. We've got Sunderland this week, so make sure you check out Full-Time Devils for your previews and all the match day build-up. We've got a big debate coming out tomorrow about who is Manchester United's player of the season and all our usual content. But thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to give this a like. Get your comments, questions, suggestions and abuse in a comment below. And I guess we'll see you this weekend. Laters.